Okay, the last step is we're going to create a gbXML, which is a green building XML. It's kind of just an industry standard that different people can do analysis on for our buildings. And to start that, we're going to go into our section view. And we are going to go to our visibility and graphics, edit that. And we're going to scroll down till we see the rooms category. And I'm just going to click to see other different parts. And we want to check off interior fill. And okay. And we're going to notice that our interior fill doesn't go all the way past our room line like we want it to. I'm going to turn shadows off for a minute just so we can kind of see and look at it. So we need to, for our export, we need to make sure that it's considering like this empty space here and all of our different parts and pieces in between. So I'm going to go into my entry-level plan. And I'm going to select all of my different room elements. So to click that, I want to make sure I'm clicking on the X part of it itself. So I'm going to click on the X, hold down Control, click on the X, and the small ones are usually the hardest to kind of get the edge of the X part to it. So hold Control, click on the X. And then in our Properties dialog box, under constraints, we want to set our limit offset from 10 feet to 14 feet. And then apply. I'm going to go back to section 1 to make sure now that it does go beyond our roof, which is good. And next, we're going to get rid of the area separation line so that this room, for the purpose of this report, will go all the way from edge to edge. So I'm going to go back to my level 2 entry plan. And select off of those parts and pieces. And I'm going to select on my room separator. If I had multiple ones to it, I could hold Control and select the different lines, and I'll just delete it. So now my room separator goes all the way to that edge. I'm going to go back to section 1, and I can see now that for the purpose of figuring out the volumes of this room, it now goes all the way to the wall, which is what I want it to do. So in our Architecture tab, I'm going to go to my rooms and area, and I want to go to area and volume computations. So in this section, I'm going to change it to area and volumes, and I want it based at the wall center. And I'm going to click OK. And now I can see that it is touching to the roof line. And even though my roof's at a slope, it's going to just constantly always be touching to the roof line, which is exactly what I want it to do. So now I'm going to export this as that green building XML. So to do that, I'm going to go to File, Export, hover over this to scroll down. Just kidding. Oh, I know why. I've got to go into 3D view. Go back into 3D view, File, Export, and then gbXML. For this, I want to use rooms and space volumes, and then click OK. For my building type, I'm going to change it to a single family building. For my location, I need to make sure that it's set to Boone, North Carolina. Mine is already set to that because of the fact that I did that solar study. If you chose not to do the solar study, you just click on location and you can then search for Boone, and you have to select the closest weather station, which there is one directly in Boone that you can select. All of our other settings, we're not really going to go and change or select anything within them. I'm just going to click on Save, and then File, Export, gbXML, Rooms and Spaces, Next, and then it'll export it as that gbXML one. So I'm just going to name this my same thing. If it would help if I could type them in order, and then save. And it'll export them. Make sure that if you are working on UDESK that you're saving things in your home drive. I'm going to just quickly undo my room separator in my floor plan. I'm going to go back to my entry level, and I'm just going to click Control Z until I no longer have that room separator. I'm also going to go back into my section view, and in my visibility and graphics, come down to where I have rooms, and turn off interior infill, because I don't want those on my final sheets for my drawings. I just wanted them for getting that information. And now I've got my project all complete. Yay! Make sure I save it 3, 4, 5 times, and you're all done.